the boy, and that's his sister Fondue. Taurus, who wants a treat? Who's a big dog? You gonna give me your paw? Paw. Where's your paw? Give me your paw. Paw. Oh, that's so good. Fondue, you gonna sit?
What kind of dogs are these?
English bulldogs. Fondue, lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Good girl. Oh, baby, lay down. That's so good.
Now this will get on Valleywag, right?
Of course.
What's the deal with Valleywag and your dogs?
I think actually Valleywag's trying to be nice to me because I sort of told them they were being mean. And so now we've got like a little bit of a truce going. So every Friday they seem to end with my dogs. And so I make them a little video sometimes.
Is that all you have to do is tell them that they're being mean?
Well, you know
or
what?
did you bring a baseball bat?
You know how we do. So cool. Yeah, so this is the rest of the company. And as you can see, we believe in screen real estate. We believe in an open office. My office is right here, and it has only 3 walls and no roof, no door. And
why is that? Why no door?
You know what? I like to be very accessible to everybody on the team. I talk to everybody here all the time, sit at lunch with them, go to dinner with them, play basketball with them, do karate with them. It's a very flat organization, and I've never liked to have like a big office and be hidden from the rest of the company, because then it comes back to you later on. I like to hear every conversation, be in on every conversation. I like these guys to hear the conversations I'm having with, the investors, or have the conversation I'm having with partners, because it sort of takes the pressure away. Nobody ever feels like there's any secrets, and we all have a common mission here. We all know what we're here for. We're trying to make a search service. It's hard to call it an engine because it's people, but we're trying to make a website that helps people find what they're looking for, whether it's information or links, or services, etc. And so, it's just great to have an open thing. It creates a certain spirit. So this is, to me, I came from journalism. I modeled this after a newsroom. And so you have these plasma TVs going with the news on it. People are watching them. You have video games, people playing video games with the video game group that's over here, multiple monitors and headphones. And so sometimes people get interrupted. Something happens that's really important. Everybody gets focused on it. But then everybody calms back down. Boom. And then we all eat lunch together. So it creates a certain unity in the group that you can't have if everybody's hiding in offices. There can't be any cliques, and we move people around, so people move their seats. I've actually been thinking about knocking these walls down, and I'm just going to sit at a table like everybody else. I think it keeps you also very focused on the product. I mean, it's very easy when you're the CEO to sort of sit in your office, have an assistant out there blocking people from getting in, and do your email, and have your meetings with your senior managers. And then you get further and further away from the product. And it's just the nature of the beast. As the company gets bigger, you get pulled to go to conferences, and you get pulled to go to investor meetings, and you get pulled to go to strategy meetings and partnerships and all this kind of stuff. And what's happening is the percentage of time you spend on the product goes down. And I am obsessive about the product, so I work 7 days a week. I'm on the product every day. I'm in the chat room. We have IRC chat room open 24 hours a day. And the people who are successful in this company are the people who obsess about the product. And so there are people who, I've developed relationships with here, and everybody starts at the same level. And there are people who have taken leadership roles without being given them. They just take them. And that's always been my philosophy, because that's how I moved up in my career. I just took what everything I have I took. I didn't really have it given to me, and so I sort of believe in that.
You'll wait forever to have something given to you.
Yeah, so you can tell it's a pretty young atmosphere. We hire people out of school. We take chances on people, and we really just care about the product.
It's interesting looking around here that Microsoft Research did a study and found that people are 10 to 15% more productive when they have 2 monitors. And what's funny is when you walk around Microsoft, a lot of machines still only have 1 monitor on them. So they're not even listening to their own advice about productivity, right?
Here's my, this is my famous, every month we give Guide of the Month to the person who had the biggest impact on the company. And then this is second place. This award is given in recognition of outstanding achievement and honorable effort. Second place. It's a set of steak knives. Just to let everybody know that, I don't know if you've ever seen Glengarry Glen Ross, but first prize is a Cadillac, and second prize is a set of steak knives. So I always give that speech to everybody. Third place is the door. You're fired. And so that's sort of how the industry works. So we whenever Anybody, thinks they did a good job, myself included, because they did an okay job, we take out the steak knives and say, congratulations, here's your steak knives, because that's what you get for second place. Like Ricky Bobby, you're either first or you're last.
What's your philosophy behind the
It's very easy. It's math. If you think about, if you're, let's just pull a number out of the air. Let's say you have an employee who makes, all their costs is $60,000 a year. And you make them 1% more productive per year with the second monitor. Second monitor has a lifespan of 3 years. 1% productivity increase, it would be $600 per year, $1,800. You've just made $1,200. And that means for every 100 people you have, with the second monitor, you can hire 2 more people. So it really is an efficiency thing. And the cost of a 2-monitor setup with the 24 Mac and the 600, these actually go for $400. I think these 2405s from Dell, the Dells are much cheaper. You're talking about a $2,500 setup. And if you go to a Mac Pro with a 30-inch monitor or 324s, you're looking at $1,200 plus $2,000, whatever. It's $3,500. $3,500 or $4,000 versus $2,500 is a $1,500 difference over 3 years. You just do the math, 36 months, and it winds up being $50 a month. $50 a month, $1 or $2 a day. It's a small fraction of what you actually get in, the payoff. And so it really does make people much more efficient. And let's face it, people are working a lot longer hours these days, and they're handling more of their private life at work. Facebook, iTunes. I came over here the other day and somebody was watching South Park. And I was just thinking and I said to them, I said, I don't know, I understand listening to music or checking your Facebook. I don't know if watching entire South Park episodes, like if they were on a Chinese site, like going from, episode 1 to 50. I don't know if that's actually, you can actually do hard work watching it. And then I realized, if the person's working 60 hours a week or something and they need to catch their show, like, who cares,
It doesn't matter if they produce.
If they produce is what matters. Yeah. Although we've agreed that we don't watch TV shows while at work, or we try not to. If you absolutely have to, I guess you can. But
you're watching TV news.
Well, that's because we like to watch it for the breaking news stuff. But it's if people have personal stuff up on their screen, they have their iTunes, and so even if they just put their iTunes on the second screen, right? Let's say that's all it's for, and you as a CEO invested $400 so they can not switch their iTunes. They're switching to their iTunes 30 times a day. Every switch to iTunes takes them, 30 seconds, 60 seconds. You just lost 30 minutes a day. You just lost 2.5 hours a week. You just start doing the math out. You just lost 100 hours. You lost 2.5 weeks a year. And that's how my mind works. I just think about these efficiency things. With the lunch, actually, was probably one of the easiest calls I ever made as, on that sort of economic basis. We have lunch 4 days a week together. It costs us, with 50 people, $500 a day or something. It's $2,000 a week. It's $100,000 a year. However, the entire team spends an hour together, 4 hours a week, 200 hours a year. That's the equivalent of going to a 5-week offsite. A 5-week offsite every year. It would be impossible to run a company and send everybody on a 5-week offsite. That's what we have here. So if we're competing against people who have a 3-day offsite a year or a week offsite a year, we have 5 times what that company who's really aggressive with the 1-week offsite has in terms of team building, in terms of knowledge, in terms of sharing of the product. We have no communication issues here. Everybody knows where we're at.
Not only that, but they probably take shorter lunches, right? Because I know.
I think so. Leaving is pretty much kills it. So
yeah, it takes 20 minutes to get anywhere in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, it is definitely a productivity killer. And also, it's expensive, and you have to think about it. Where are we going to go? You got to order. It just, for me, it's a godsend because I don't have to. It's one less thing for me to think about a day. So that's what I try to do. Is just if we can take away things for people to think about, and they can just focus on the product. With this company, I'm trying to move faster than I did at the other companies. I'm trying to go bigger than I did at the other companies. So try not to sweat the small stuff, and I'm really thinking about the big picture. And so far, that's working. We had 3 million unique visitors in January, and we'll grow.
And this is a company that's only about a year old, right?
The company is a year old. The product is 7 months old, right? We launched it in end of May, June. So June was our first full month, I think. So yeah, it's a very new company, and I think we'll probably hit 10 million uniques this year, a month. If we do that, that'll be a very significant company in a very short period of time. And
for Fast Company viewers who probably came from the magazine and don't read TechCrunch or whatnot, how much investment did you guys have, and where did that come from?
We never reported on the number, but people have speculated tens of millions of dollars. And the first investor was Sequoia Capital, and Sequoia is the company that backed YouTube, Yahoo, Google, Atari, Cisco, Electronic Arts, a lot of big companies, LinkedIn. And so when I had the idea for Mahalo, I thought to myself, who is the most knowledgeable person in search? And the first name that came to my mind was Mike Rhoads, who was on the board of Google and had previously been on the board of Yahoo. And so I emailed him, and he's obviously been quite successful. And he called me back, maybe 12 hours after I emailed him personally. And so I was pretty impressed by that. This is a person who doesn't need to work. He could call in rich if he wanted to, but he's working. And I explained the idea to him on the phone, and he said, "Great. Can you come up and see me?" And I said, "Yeah." So I came up the next day or 2 days later, and I showed him search results. And I showed him one I had written by hand. And then I showed him Google's and Yahoo's and Delicious and StumbleUpon, every other major site that you could go to for iPod or Kauai, the island in Hawaii, were the examples I had made. And I just said, which one's the best? And he and Roloff Botha, who is the venture capitalist who did YouTube, both were like, this is the best one. I said, I wrote that. And so then it was, well, how much did it cost? How much time? Can it scale? And all those questions start happening. And I said, yeah, I've done this before. I did Weblogs Inc. It had 12,000 blog posts. So we'll get to 12,000 of these search results being created. And it will be a very big business at some point. But it's going to take 5 years. So it's very capital intensive. And we closed the deal in 10 days. So it was pretty easy. So it's the best venture capitalists in the world. And they were the easiest to work with.
How much getting access to capital like that probably means having a previous success, doesn't it? Because somebody like me can't just walk in.
Somebody like me couldn't have done it 3 years ago. So I mean, I think, I'm 12 years into my career, and this is my third startup, and the first one, grew into a $20 million business. The second one grew into a $30 million business. The first one took 7 years to grow into a $20 million business. The second one took 18 months to grow into a $30 million business. And this one, who knows? It's always a crapshoot. But if you have a track record, you can get, the investors with a track record, and it's a pretty good place to be in your career. And I've had to switch how I operate. I used to do small projects and take a 12-week view of the world. Okay, I'm going to build this thing, and I'm going to make the money in 12 weeks. Now I've moved to a 36-month view of the world. Okay, I'm going to build this product for 36 months, then I'll start making revenue from it, and then I'll do this for 24 months. I mean, it's really starting to look out 4, 8, 12, 10, 7 quarters. It's a much different strategy, but it's fun. And, I feel very lucky, that I have access to the capital. And as you can see, we're still cheap. We still have the ethos of a very cheap company. We've spent no money on this office. We just knocked walls down, and we bought $100 restaurant desks instead of, $800, desks. And the only thing we really spend money on is the monitors, but like I explained, I think that's a net profit. And the desks and the chairs, you got to sit in a nice chair. You got to have nice coffee, good lunch, good people, and that's it.
What are your board meetings like? What kinds of things are they putting pressure on you yet to show profitability or anything?
No, I mean, all the investors agreed that we would be building this, over 5 or 6 years, and that we'd monetize towards the end of the second year into the third year. It's very hard to monetize when you have a small amount of traffic. Sites like Engadget and Autoblog and Joystick, we were selling them early on. It's very frustrating to try to go into a meeting with Samsung or Canon or Volvo, and they'd say, "Oh yeah, we'd love to buy, something. We'd like to spend $1 million a year with you, a month with you." And we'd say, "Well, actually, we've got like 1 million pages a month," and they'd say, "Okay, well, we'd love to spend $20,000 a month with you," and they would have bought 10 times the inventory, but we didn't have it, so very frustrating. So, and for them too, they don't really are not interested in 10,000 people. They want scale, and so
which is not really bright on their behalf, is it? Because we know how the world works.
Yeah,
that you
influencers, and so some people would take the time to do the influencers, some people wouldn't. But you can't blame them. I mean, they want to reach 50 million people with the new Volvo minivan. AOL and Yahoo and Google can get them that with one insertion order. Great, they're going to do it. And if they have to do, 10,000 insertion orders against 10,000 blogs, it's going to be impossible. And so, that's why ad networks are getting so big, is because it does actually give them that ability to go down the tail. That's why Federated Media, John Patel's business, has done, I think, very well, is because he's given them access to that with some efficiency. Oh, yeah, I want influencers. I have no idea who they are. You can vet it for me. Great, give me tech people. And they buy 20 tech people at once. So you get 1 million. So, no, but the board meetings are great. When the curves are going like this, the board meetings are great. The curves don't always go like that. So I hope, we have a YouTube Google curve and a Facebook curve forever.
Well, the one on the wall over there seems like it's going in the right direction.
Yeah, but that one correlates with spending money, so that's a slightly different. If cumulative amount of money invested, that's, if you got graded on that curve, I think everybody would do pretty well. But it really has to be traffic. That's really, at the end of the day, our business is about the unique visitors that come to a site. That's really the best way to tell how a business is doing in our business. So,
how do you find traffic on the internet? How do you find traffic? Because like Amazon says, they don't do advertising. They don't do TV advertising. Yeah. They don't do print advertising.
I've never done advertising. I believe the best way to build a product is the best way to get traffic is to build a great product, and word of mouth and a little bit of PR. So I get a lot of press for the product, and that brings people to it. We're doing an interview right now. This will bring 10,000, 20,000 people to the site, and there'll be influencers, and they'll tell another 10 people each, and we get 100,000 people over a couple of months. And maybe this is the 5th time, 3rd time, 7th time they've heard about Mahalo, and so I think people keep checking in on it. So I believe in that sort of relentless, every 2-3 months, sharing something new about the product and doing a little bit of publicity around what you're building. But other than that, you build a great product. There's a little more nuance to it on the internet. There's basically 3 ways you can get traffic: direct traffic, referrer traffic, and search traffic. And so we get some from search engines. We get some people coming direct with the toolbar and whatnot, and the Mahalo social, the profiles. And then we get some people who link to us. So, someone like you links to us, or a blog or whatever, and it sends people. But most people don't remember when they learned about Yahoo or Wikipedia. They just, all of a sudden, they're like, yeah, Wikipedia, YouTube. And if you go back and you look at actually their behavior, what happened was, over time, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th time, they stumbled upon a YouTube page, they stumbled upon a Wikipedia page, or an Engadget page, or your blog. It clicked. Okay, I know who Robert Scoble is. I know Scobleizer. I know the domain name. Or I know Scoble something. I'm going to type something into Google, correct the misspelling, and then go to the first link. And so that's basically what's happening now. One of the great secrets I have is to watch the search term for your domain name in Google Analytics. So, we would see people typing joystick or auto blog or auto weblog into Google, and it would make this nice curve going like this over time. That's people who are the word of mouth people. Yeah. And so now every day we see anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 people type Mahalo into Google and Yahoo and come to the site. It's very exciting. That means somebody told them, hey, type in Mahalo, and they typed it into Google or Yahoo and then clicked on the first link. So, and misspellings.
Can we see what the tool set looks like that some of your searchers are looking at?
Sure. Well, this is Mike.
Hey, Mike. Hey, how are you doing?
So Mike has been working in the social group, and so what he does is we have a social network now, and people create profiles and they submit links. So it's very much like Delicious or Furl or Stumble Upon, and so he'll load his profile page here, and he's got a bunch of links that he suggested. Unlike Delicious, instead of just submitting a link for certain tags and tagging something, this is about sci-fi, this is the Blade Runner page about sci-fi, he can also submit that URL to a search page. And so that's like a little bit of a higher order bit, When those links come in, Mike and his team look at every link coming in, and they have a heads-up display here, which if you make it a little wider, you'll be able to see a little easier. And so if we look here, he's got this heads-up display that shows what links have come in, what search result they put it towards, when they recommended it, who recommended it, what tags they put in, and then it says here checked by, and a comment. And so his group checked every link that comes in. So imagine if Delicious and Stumble Upon checked every link coming in. It'd be hard, but it would cost money, but that's what we do. And then by checking it, we are building a trust score for you like eBay. So let's say you submit 100 links and 10 of them get accepted. Great, you have a certain level of trust. If I submit 100 links and get 20 accepted, I'm a little more trusted, both in the number of it accepted and the percentage. Let's say we decline one of your links or we ban them. And so we have two ways to say we don't like something. We can decline it, which is like soft, like, it's not really a fit, it's not for us. Or we can ban. So if you submit spam, if you submit an affiliate link, if you submit a scraper site, we ban you. We ban the link, we may ban you, and if we don't ban you, we'll just count, -10 or -100 against your trust score. And so over time, the people who have more trust can do more on the site, and the people who have less can do less. And the people who have less don't even know they're getting less. So what happens is the spammers just give up. There's no reason to be here because every time a spammer comes, he catches them, bans them, and he bans their domain name. So they're basically done forever, which is a great, sort of system, and we've been able to keep up with it. And
tell me about the tools. So you're using Firefox.
Yep.
What are the toolbars here that you have?
I use the Compete toolbar.
And what is that?
There's a trust score. It has compiles traffic data and kind of gives you a little bit of a profile on that. You can get further information by loading the page up. It's similar to the Alexa toolbar. They just have a different method of sampling.
So Alexa and Compete look at traffic and data.
Yeah,
from,
because if we're going to look at your site, like let's say we've never heard of Scopalizer, and somebody submits it, and we go, well, we don't know. First of all, the site is designed pretty well, and there's not any ads on it, so we say, okay, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But let's say it had a bunch of ads on it, and we weren't sure whose content it was. If we look at Alexa and we look at Compete, and there's significant traffic, and it's in the top 20,000 sites or 10,000 sites, and it's had traffic for 3 years, okay, this is an established site. Well, guess what? Spammers and SEOs and affiliate sites, they don't exist for 3 years. They exist for 3 weeks or 3 months, and they don't have any traffic, typically. So we look at it and say, you know what? We're not going to add this to the index yet because we don't have enough data on it. And so with this system, he will tell people why we blocked something, and they have a whole series of reasons. So unlike Google, right, or Yahoo, where if you don't get the first search result for your car insurance site, or who do you talk to at Google or Yahoo? There's nobody to talk to. Yeah. Here, you can actually talk to Mike. Mike has a profile page, or Mike's team puts why we didn't accept a link, and we'll say, oh, this is too ad heavy, it hasn't been around long enough. And so what we think is we can actually start directing good behavior. Because a lot of times when we tell people, hey, your site's got too many ads, what do? They come back and they might say...
Too many. Some dispute it. Some say, well, this is not an ad. No, they'll make comparisons to other sites that we've accepted. They try to argue a little bit, and if you reason with them, they'll be a little bit more understanding.
So it could be that we actually tell people how to make better sites and how to be better to the users. And we'll tell people, like, we appreciate it, Mahalo, which means thank you for sending it, but we would like to see a little more original content on the site. And we'd like to, know who owns the site. We don't have a Better Business Bureau link. So on commerce sites, we'll look for Better Business Bureau links. We'll look for, is there a phone number here? Is there a real address? Is the domain name blocked? Is it by domain by proxy? Well, if you're domain by proxy, what are you hiding from? Well, some people might want privacy. So you can't take any one factor, because if you could take one factor, then Google could do it. We're looking at a multitude of factors. And what's going to happen over time is you might have 10 links accepted in technology. I might have 10 accepted in travel. So maybe I'll be more authoritative on our site for travel, and you'll be more authoritative. So that's the layering of the social graph against search. And we're just starting to layer that in.